take it easy, lady. There isn't a bird anywhere in sight.
Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap, yet your Heavenly Father feeds them.
Say, something like this happened in Santa Cruz last year. The town was just covered with seagulls.
Please finish your drink.
That's right, sir. I recall it. A large flock of seagulls got lost in the fog and headed into the town where all the lights were.
And they made some mess, too, smashing into buildings and everything. And they always make a mess.
The point is that no one seemed to be upset about it. They were all gone next morning, just as though nothing at all had happened. Poor things.
I'm leaving. Are you coming?
All right, all right. Well, hope you folks figure this thing out.
It's the end of the world.
Well, I better get back to the cannery. What do I owe you, Deke?
This is Sebastian. Hold a minute.
Huh?
I don't want to be an alarmist about
No one
this.
ever said you were.
I think we're in real trouble.
Huh?
I don't know how this started or why, but I know it's here, and we'd be crazy to ignore it.
To ignore what? The bird war?
Yes, the bird war, the bird attack. Call it what you like. They're massing out there someplace, and they'll be back. You can count on it.
Ridiculous.
Come here. Unless we do something right now, unless we get Bodega Bay on the move,
Look, Mitch. Even if this is true, even if all
Well, don't
this
you
bird-
believe it's true?
No, Mitch, frankly, I don't. Well, there's no reason.
Well, it's happening. Isn't that a reason?
I like Bodega Bay as well as the next
Fine, then
man,
help
and I
me.
can't...
Look, you're an important man in this town. If you help, they all will.
Help how? What do you want to do?
Mrs. Bundy said something about Santa Cruz, about seagulls getting lost in a fog and then flying in towards the lights.
We don't have any fog this time of year.
Make our own fog.
How do you figure to do that?
We can use smoke pots the way the Army uses them.
Look.
They're attacking again. Well, Melanie, you stay in here. Come on, Al.
With their inception, monster films strive to scare viewers with the idea of the unreal. Whether it be science-created, man-created, or supernatural, these frightful beings were the cornerstone of early horror films. That is until 1963, when Alfred Hitchcock turned the monsters into animals we see daily. And the results changed not just horror films or monster films, but films in general forever. The Birds is based off a short story by Daphne du Maurier, and the film tells the tale of birds attacking the people of the small California town Bodega Bay. The film stars the striking and beautiful Tippi Hedren as socialite Melanie Daniels, and Rod Taylor as lawyer Mitch Brennan. These two meet in a chance encounter at a San Francisco pet store, and it turns to terror. A young Veronica Cartwright of Alien fame, Jessica Tandy, and Suzanne Plachette also star. Our next two clips show how the possible star-crossed pair first meet. Hear the curt banter between the two, and Hitchcock's calling card of mistaken identity, or in this case, the put-on of it, being used. Then we move forward to the conclusion of our introductory scene, when the townspeople of Bodega Bay see for themselves the horror and havoc these birds have wreaked. Take note of the fear and despair in their voices, despite being quite dismissive of the idea of the birds attacking only a short time ago.
I wonder if you could help me.
What?
I said, I wonder if you could help me.
Yes, what is it you're looking for, sir?
Lovebirds.
Lovebird, sir?
Yes, I understand there are different varieties. Is that true?
Oh, yes, there are.
Well, these are for my sister for her birthday, you see, and as she's only going to be 11, I wouldn't want a pair of birds that were too demonstrative.
I understand completely.
At the same time, I wouldn't want them to be too aloof either.
No, of course not.
Do you happen to have a pair of birds that are this Friendly?
Oh, I think so. Now then, let me see.
Aren't those lovebirds?
No, those are redbirds.
Oh, I thought they were strawberry finches.
Oh, yes, we call them that, too. Here we are, lovebirds.
Those are canaries. Doesn't this make you feel awful?
Doesn't what make me...
Having all these poor little innocent creatures caged up like this?
Well, we can't just let them fly around the shop, you know.
No, I suppose not. Is there an ornithological reason for keeping them in separate cages?
Well, certainly, it's to protect the species.
Yes, I suppose that's important, especially during the molting season.
It's a particularly dangerous time.
Are they molting now?
Some of them are.
How can you tell?
Well, they get a sort of hangdog expression.
Yes, I see. Well, what about the lovebirds?
Are you sure you wouldn't like to see a canary instead? We have some very nice canaries this week.
All right. All right, may I see it, please? There we are.
Oh, there.
Wonderful.
Back in your gilded cage, Melanie Daniels.
What did you say?
I was merely drawing a parallel, Miss Daniels.
How did you know my name?
A little birdie told me. Good day, Miss Daniels. Madam?
Hey, wait a minute. I don't know you.
Ah, but I know you.
How?
We met in court.
We never met in court or any place
That's
else.
true. I'll rephrase it. I saw you in court.
When?
Don't you remember one of your practical jokes that resulted in the smashing of a plate glass window?
I didn't break that window.
Yes, but your little prank did. Judge should have put you behind bars.
What are you, a policeman?
I merely believe in the law, Miss Daniels. I'm not too keen on practical jokers.
Well, what do you call your lovebird story, if not
Oh,
a
I really wanted the lovebird.
Well, you knew I didn't work here. You deliberately...
Right, I recognized you when I came in. I just thought you might like to know what it's like to be on the other end of a gag. What do you think of that?
I think you're a louse.
I am. Good day, Miss Daniels. Madam.
And I'm glad you didn't get your lovebirds.
Oh, I'll find something else. See you in court.
And now, the townspeople of Bodega Bay respond to the terror that has befallen their town.
Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? They said when you got here, the whole thing started. Who are you? What are you? Where did you come from? I think you're the cause of all this. I think you're evil! Evil!
I think they're going.
We can get Kathy at Annie's now.
The crows again.
Shh. Come on.
Oh, no. Stay here. Stay here.
Most of Hitchcock's motifs are here in this film. However, one aspect missing is the use of music. Hitchcock did use frequent music collaborator Bernard Herrmann for this film, but only as a quote-unquote sound advisor. That is because he uses the sound of the airborne menaces to drive the film. It doesn't have a traditional film soundtrack. In our next clip, the birds have congregated on the school playground. Melanie and school teacher Annie Hayworth, the aforementioned Plachette, must guide the children to safety. This scene does not have much dialogue, but the sounds of the squalling and flapping of the birds, coupled with the screams of the children being attacked, do the terrifying scene justice.
Melanie? I want you to go as quietly as possible. Do not make a sound until I tell you to run. Then run as quickly as you can. Now, does everybody understand? Yes, Miss Hayward. All right, John, you lead the way.
With the controversies surrounding Hollywood regarding the Me Too movement and Harvey Weinstein, I would be remiss to not include the allegations Hedren and her co-stars made regarding Hitchcock's treatment of her. An HBO film called The Girl depicts the allegations. It has been documented by famed Hitchcock biographer Donald Spoto and the co-stars of the film that Hitchcock was obsessed with Hedren. This is rumored to have led to Hitchcock putting her in dangerous situations. The main one is having live birds attack Hedren in the climactic scene when she was told that they would be robotic. This also allegedly caused Hedren to have a minor nervous breakdown and filming being delayed for a few days. In our final clip from 2016, Hedren spoke with Larry King about working with Hitchcock and when the unwanted sexual advances began.
What took you into Hollywood?
A commercial that I had done.
Which was?
Seago. It was filmed, it's a diet drink, and I didn't weigh any more than I do now. But it wasn't just holding up a product and saying, here, buy this. It was a storyline. where I'm walking down the street and this little boy whistles at me. And I turn and look at him and smile. And of course I'm slim and, all that, Anyway, that was the commercial that Alfred Hitchcock saw. And he said to his people at Universal, "Find the girl." That's what I became known as over there, the girl.
And how did you feel being brought to Hollywood by so famous a man?
Well, I had already, I'd been living in New York with my daughter, Melanie. And, after 10 years of modeling, it kind of goes away, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do now? So I thought, well, let's move back to California. So Melanie and I packed up the dog and the cat and the bunny, and we moved back to California. And I rented an expensive home in Brentwood, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do now? Because nothing really was happening financially. And on Friday, the 13th of October, in 1961, I received a phone call asking if I was the girl in the Seago commercial. I said, "Why do you want to know?" They said, "Well..."
Do you devote a lot of time in the book? I can't wait to read this. To
Thank you.
Hitchcock?
I devote a good bit of time with Hitchcock.
A show about it on television?
Yes.
A show about him?
Yeah, called The Girl.
Was it sexual? Was he after you physically?
Yes. But that didn't happen until we were almost finished with Marnie. And, it really was so upsetting to me that he would pull that card. That I...
Was The Birds before that?
Mm-hmm.
He never did it during The Birds?
Never. No.
Was he okay up to then?
Yes.
Easy to work with?
Oh, yes. And he and Alma were my drama coaches, and it was a perfect situation, just perfect.
So what did you make of it when it happened near the end of Marnie?
It was the end of Marnie, and it was just very disappointing and disturbing, and a situation that I couldn't live with. So I said I wanted to get out of the contract, and he said, "Well, you can't. You have your daughter to take care of, and your parents are getting older." And I said, "Well, you know what? They would be more concerned about my level of integrity than that." And
it's funny that today you see a lot of sexual predators, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
Did he actually touch you?
No.
No. But he made it clear what he wanted.
Yes.
Did you ever see him after that?
I did. I went to, there was a big event for him at one of the big hotels. And some people were saying, "Why did you go to this?" And I said, well, I really have the capabilities of separating the artist from the man. And
so you compartmentalize?
Yes.
How good a director was he?
Oh, awesome. Really wonderful.
For many, this was Hitchcock's last masterpiece, and it has inspired filmmakers such as Guillermo del Toro and John Carpenter. Hitchcock stated that all you can say about the birds is nature can be awful rough if you play around with it. These harrowing words can be applied to the world as much today as it did when this film was released. Despite the alleged controversies with Hedren, the film was ranked as 7th greatest in the BFI's latest greatest films of all time list. That fact shows that this film can still captivate and scare as much now as it did in 1963. I hope you join me next week when our October Hitchcock theme continues with the haunting and suspenseful Vertigo. For WMNH and Matt Connarton Unleashed, this has been a Classic Film Review with Erich Pilcher.